Psych-Minded Media presents Best Psychology in Film with your host, Dr. Catherine Marshall Woods. Best Psychology in Film is also a book available online where books are sold. Today's featured guest, Craig T. Williams. Hello and welcome to Best Psychology in Film. I'm your host, Dr. Catherine Marshall Woods. Intriguing cinematic works seen on the big screen begin with extraordinary ideas and talented screenwriters to create stories that make us laugh, cry, and depict the complexity of human conditions. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Craig Williams, co-founder of Redwall Productions, to discuss writing and upcoming projects. Welcome to the show, Craig.
Hello, Kat. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me here.
Are you kidding? It is my pleasure. I love speaking with you about films and about writing and everything that you're doing. You're always doing something really exciting. So what are you doing right now? Let's start there.
Oh, what am I doing right now? A couple of things. Let's see, I have to compartmentalize. Okay, so as a writer, I have a feature film that I wrote called Hanging by a Thread that is executive produced by Viola Davis. And we were gearing up to get that out to people, to financiers and stuff. And when the world died, everything just stopped. But now that we're getting out of the whole COVID thing, or at least, people are trying, people are finding a way to work again. We're getting some interest, and I have an agent. During the pandemic, I signed with an agency, and my wife Roz.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My wife Roz also signed with an agency as a director. So she read it, a Black woman, which is great. Agent. There are very few of them, and she's sending it out and getting great response. So that's building. As a writer, I've also written a couple of pilots. One of them is called How You Like Me Now, and it's about the real life rivalry between hip hop legend Kool Moe Dee and an upstart named LL Cool J. And it is about their hip hop rivalry, the first battle that ever happened. Before Biggie versus Tupac, before East Coast versus West Coast, there was Kool Moe Dee versus LL Cool J. So I wrote a TV show based on that and based on Kool Moe Dee's life. And that one has won half a dozen film festival competitions. It's in one right now called Page International, which I'm very excited. I'm in the finals. And next week I hear if I'm in the grand prize winner or where I place. So out of over 8,000 scripts, I'm in the top 10. So that's been exciting. I wrote a new half-hour pilot during the pandemic called Call Me Daddy, based on some of my experience growing up with a stepfather and then also having a son. And that the log lines, because I think log lines are important. I think we need to know that. Tired of waiting for Mrs. Right. A 40-year-old emotionally stunted man decides to have a baby on his own to be the father he never had. So it's all about daddy issues because, that's something that permeates my work is like the whole parental child relationship. So that's writing. I coach a lot of writers. So I'm working with a lot of writers that I coach with. I lead 3 writing groups where I mentor writers, and I'm also taking class because I also believe that education never stops. And so I also take class on writing, and I'm teaching another class. God, I'm exhausted. I'm teaching. I start teaching a class next week at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, where I will be teaching actors who are graduating how to create their own characters. So it's the idea that you don't want to wait around for someone to call for that audition that may happen once a month or once a year, that you want to put yourself in the position to create your own work, so that you're just not sitting around. And that's really what, moves me every day, that helps me be of service to people. I taught 2 classes this summer to kids, which was amazing, at New York Film Academy and some other place that I can't remember that I taught. So I believe in. Oh, I'm a mentor with Real Works too, Brooklyn. I have some mentees, some mentee filmmakers. So when you ask me, that's what I'm doing. It's good to remember that I'm busy because you can kind of think that, especially in this day and time, that you're sitting on your thumbs and not doing anything. But I guess for me, this pandemic has been a way to continue work, be of service, and continue to find my voice.
You do sound exhausted.
I am. I took 2 naps today, and now I'm remembering why.
You have a lot going on. And
Yeah.
one thing that I know about your writing, because I've read a lot of your scripts, is that they are hilariously funny. But the topics are really sensitive topics, individuals would say. They are topics of, let's say, being disappointed, like wanting to be, finding someone and not being able to then find someone to be able to create a family with. Where do you come up with your inspiration?
Oh, everyday living. It's, ideas can be difficult. Ideas are difficult for me. I know people who, can sit here and give you 50 ideas. Like just off the, "Oh, okay, how about a story about this? How about a story about that?" The way that I approach writing is I have one idea and I can come up with 50 different ways to do that one idea. Just the way my mind works, and then wanting to live in the world and and uh, and discover the characters. And for me, it's always a question of what if, what if, what if, what if. I meet writers, and I'll present a story, and they'll say, "Yeah, but people don't really do that." That's like, yeah, that's not the way I see things. What if that person did that? What if that woman killed her child as an opening? What if this man developed, I don't know, weighed spaceships or went to Mars? What if, what if, what if? And then from there, we can make it possible. You have to really then do the work of making it plausible, but I don't think it's story wise for writers or creative people to say, "Oh, we don't do that. Oh, black women don't talk like that, or this doesn't happen like that," because they could, because we're not a monolith. We're a diverse group of people. When people say we need diversity, it's like you can still tell a black story with only black people and still have it be diverse. You don't need, to open it up to other things for it to be diverse. So I believe in the diversity of us and all that we have to offer and all that we have to say. And we can be anywhere at any time, because if we don't see ourselves in that space, nobody else will.
It almost sounds like you feel like there's a responsibility then to ensure that the characters are broad enough to be able to then kind of break some of the barriers of what people think a person would behave like or act like.
Yeah, and I actually think, it's the specificity of it, because specificity is universal. If I'm having an experience, with my 16-year-old son, which I talk about a lot, and what he's going through and what he's putting us through these days, I know that that resonates across the board, because I have friends with 15 and 16-year-old boys, girls, white, black, Asian, and they're all having the same experience. So when I'm putting that character in a script, I know people across the board are going to understand what that is, because they either it was them or they know somebody that's going through that experience. So it's the specificity, it's the little moments, it's the little things we say to each other that I think have broader appeal. And traditionally, African Americans and people of color have not been thought of as people who have specific stories that are universal. We're always, well, but is anybody gonna get that? Is anybody gonna? It's like, yeah, they'll get it because they're human and I'm human. So why wouldn't they get it?
Mhm.
And I challenge myself and I challenge other black writers and I challenge anybody. It's like, but then it becomes my job as the creative to help the person see the universality and the specificity of my story.
Hear more of this interview at Best Psychology in Film on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, and where podcasts are hosted. Want to make your film psychologically rich? Visit our website at www.psychmindedmedia.com to collaborate. And find more on Instagram at psychmindedmedia. Created with works by